Time travel has gripped human imagination since H.G. Wells first hurled his protagonist into the far future, and every generation since has re-examined the idea through novels, cinema, and, increasingly, physics. The appeal is obvious. If a machine can hop across years as easily as kilometers, then regret, destiny, even death seem negotiable. Yet baked into that allure is a puzzle that vexes philosophers and physicists alike. How can an action in the present reach backward to disturb the very chain of causes that produced it? Modern relativity equations do not forbid such journeys outright, but they hint that tampering with yesterday might shear logic itself. The most famous illustration is the grandfather paradox. Imagine traveling to 1920, preventing a grandparent's marriage, and thereby erasing your own birth. The deed destroys the agent who performed it, leaving a contradiction in its wake. Several theoretical escape routes compete for acceptance. The Novikov self-consistency principle, rooted in classical and quantum formulations of closed time-like curves, insists that physical events must align, so the paradoxical choice is never successfully completed. Probability conspires to jam the gun or intervene in some subtler way. A different school draws on quantum many-worlds reasoning. The moment interference occurs, history branches, and the altered timeline evolves alongside the original, each internally coherent and free of contradiction. Recent wormhole analyses using traversable Morris-Thorne geometries revive that notion of multiple histories within a single relativistic framework, showing mathematically how a traveler's intervention can slide onto a neighboring track rather than loop back and break causality in one continuous universe. A subtler puzzle, the bootstrap paradox, removes violence but keeps the logical loop. An engineer in 2080 receives blueprints for a revolutionary engine, voyages back to 2040, patents the design, and bequeaths the same plans to her younger self 4 decades later. Neither ingenuity nor paper seems to originate anywhere. Information simply circulates. Because no direct contradiction appears, every link in the loop is self-consistent, the bootstrap paradox is less about impossibility than about discomfort. It challenges the intuition that every effect has an external cause, and that entropy should increase along the timeline rather than trace a circle. When physicists tackle these paradoxes, they turn first to general relativity. Einstein's field equations admit warped solutions, tunnels through space-time or rapidly spinning cylinders, that mathematically curl a world line back onto itself. To stabilize these closed time-like curves would require exotic negative energy, a form of mass energy never observed in bulk, but actively hunted in quantum field laboratories. Small hints of phenomena that mimic it have appeared in Casimir effect experiments and new proposals for squeezed light systems. Even if engineers could accumulate such stuff, Stephen Hawking argued that quantum jitter at a curve's mouth would flare into destructive radiation, a natural chronology protection that seals the passage and preserves cause before any paradox can form. Still, theorists keep exploring. Papers in early 2025 reported cloud-based quantum processors that simulate self-consistent CTC circuits, letting qubits interact with earlier versions of themselves to retrieve scrambled information without violating logical consistency. While another study last week sketched how embedding an entire quantum algorithm inside a Deutsch-style loop might, in principle, collapse the P versus NP hierarchy. All of this sustains a picture in which time travel paradoxes are neither idle fantasies nor imminent engineering headaches. They are intellectual stress tests for our deepest theories, showing where causality frays and where quantum law may stitch it together again. Until negative energy is bottled, wormhole mouths are braced against collapse, and chronology protection, if it exists, finds a loophole of its own, journeys into the past will remain thought experiments. Yet by probing their riddles, we refine our mathematics, sharpen our philosophy of free will, and weigh the ethics of rewriting memory itself, all while the tantalizing possibility dangles that time's tapestry is richer and more entwined than a single linear thread. If you enjoyed this video, Give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Share this with everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.